Good morning to all of you. The subject that I am going to deal now is called as public-private partnership. Public extension, as you all know, has come a long way since independence, creating a tremendous impact on Indian agriculture. However, there exist several constraints which need to be addressed. The important constraints are multiplicity of efforts, narrow focus, lack of farmer focus and feedback, inadequate technical capacity, weak research and extension linkages, inadequate operating resources and financial sustainability, supply driven rather than demand driven, generalized nature of extension services, deals with large area and large population, and poor motivation of staff and inefficiency. So, it is becoming increasingly evident that public extension by itself can no longer respond to the multifarious demands of the farming system. Public funding for sustaining the vast extension infrastructure is also under considerable strain. Meanwhile, in response to market demand, the existing public extension network is inevitably being complemented, supplemented, and in some cases replaced by private extension. As the nature and scope of agricultural extension undergoes fundamental changes, the outlook is for a new policy mix nurturing a plurality of institutions, especially participation of the private sector. The references made by the National Agricultural Policy on public-private partnership include financial sustainability of extension services, encouraging private investments for producing agricultural inputs, encouraging collaboration between producer cooperatives and the corporate sector to promote agro-processing, and promoting contract farming and land leasing arrangements. Further, the policy framework for agricultural extension on public-private partnership emphasizes promotion of community-based private extension services, promotion of non-governmental based private extension services, promotion of para-professional based private extension, contracting out extension support services, setting up private information kiosks, capacity building for use of information and communication technology, cost-cutting mechanisms for extension services, privatizing of agro services, realistic cost recovery of agro services, and co-financing of public extension by farmers and farmers associations. The potential private extension service providers who could be partners in public-private partnership in agricultural extension are unemployed agricultural graduates, farmers organizations, input dealers, agribusiness companies, NGOs, the print and electronic media, private banks, and funding agencies. Particularly, farmers organizations and commodity interest groups such as Maha Grapes, Maha Mango, precision farming groups, sugar cooperatives, tea growers associations, Raitu Mitra groups, commodity interest groups are being promoted under Atma. They offer a good condition and a situation for partnerships. It is relatively easier for agribusiness companies to partner with such homogeneous groups, farmers groups, and so as to enhance farmer to farmer extension. There are several good examples for successful public-private partnerships. The first I would outline is the agri-clinics and agri-business centers. Under the scheme, so far more than 30,000 agriculture and allied graduates have been trained all over the country, and out of them more than 11,400 have established 32 categories of agriculture ventures in different parts of the country. Recent managed studies indicate that the agripreneurs are earning a decent income and are providing value-added extension services, resulting in increase in yield and income for the farmers. Another program is the Diploma Program in Agricultural Extension Services for input dealers. This is popularly called as DAISY program. This is also another good example. The DAISY program aims at converting the input dealers into para-professionals for extension work in the villages. Besides, a large number of ATMAs, that is the Agricultural Technology Management Agencies, in different states have taken initiatives to develop partnerships with the private sector in areas like processing, farmers organizations, cooperatives, corporate bodies, etc. This partnership has facilitated dissemination of technologies, supply of quality inputs like seeds, fertilizers, micronutrients, biofertilizers, pesticides, and besides marketing of farmers' produce. For example, the Atma program in Jalandhar has tied up with Pepsi Foods, Hindustan Lever, Niger Agro Foods, Indomint Limited, and Maharaja Aromatic for marketing and processing of farmers' produce. The Atma Koraput has linked up with Koraput Farmers Associations for supply of inputs like seeds, vermicompost, and beehives. In Shimla and other districts of Himachal Pradesh, input dealers have been made part of the Atma system itself. The Atma program in Aurangabad has associated with 3 NGOs for watershed development, dairying, vermicomposting, integrated pest management, and for organizing training programs for the farmers. Besides this, there are several private-led partnership models also. For instance, the State Bank of India has signed an agreement with Dabur India for financing farmers for production of medicinal and aromatic crops under contract farming arrangement. Similarly, McCain Foods, which is the world's largest producer of French fries and potato specialties, is currently guiding farmers in Punjab on developing and growing high quality potato seed varieties. ITC, as you all know, has started the e-Choupal, which is also another good example, where through this portal, the ITC is helping farmers for profitable marketing of their produce. There are several potential areas for public-private partnership in agricultural extension. They can be broadly classified as technology dissemination, sale of inputs and processing, marketing of agricultural products, and infrastructure support for production, processing, and marketing. With respect to technology dissemination, the private sector can help in training of farmers and extension functionaries, conducting demonstrations, organizing farmer study tours, exhibitions and field days, production and dissemination of extension messages through print and electronic media, presenting awards to successful farmers, mobilizing farmers groups, and other such related activities. As far as sale of inputs, processing of agri products, and marketing of agriculture products, in most cases they are being handled by the private sector, and any partnership in this area is essentially private-led partnership only. Partnership modalities should ensure agribusiness freedom of the private partner with proper regulation to prevent exploitation of farmers. Regarding infrastructure support, the private sector can involve in setting up of soil advisory centers, fertilizers, pesticides, water and seed testing facilities, establishing training centers, demonstration farms, starting nurseries, seed production farms, biocontrol laboratories, agro-processing units, building of godowns, cold storages, establishing veterinary hospitals, artificial insemination centers, custom hiring centers, seed processing units, setting up of information kiosks, and related infrastructure facilities. Regulation of the activities is also important. Therefore, The regulation of the activities of the private extension service providers is very important. The activities of the private extension service provider shall be under the close observation of an expert group. Activities such as non-cooperation, indiscriminate promotion of commercial interests, suppression of agricultural information meant for dissemination, sale of spurious inputs, cheating, use of government name or anti-farmer activities would be taken note, and a penalty equivalent to the damage would be levied on the private extension service provider. On the other hand, the good work of the private service provider will be surely recognized and during certification process. The scope for public-private partnership enabled extension services is huge in Indian agriculture. However, no single or uniform model or methodology for public-private partnership can be worked out and recommended, since the farmers' needs are highly location specific and they are dynamic in nature. In addition, for the success of the public-private partnership, favorable state policies are essential. The policy framework should aim at confidence building among the private sector, assuring a level playing field for both the partners so as to channelize the benefits to the farmers. Thank you.